For our final segment this week, we'd like to give you the top 10 alternative singles from March 2023 as decided by us.
We whittled it down to 10 from 5,000 songs.
Starting at 10, we have Brainwashed by Waterparks.
So take it away, I wanna play, but at the time fly. What if I pray, hoping you'll stay into the daylight? Wait, what am I saying? I feel insane. It's only been a couple days. I'm having the same thoughts, can't stop thinking you got me brainwashed.
Released on the 10th of March, Brainwashed is the 5th single from the Houston Trio's upcoming 5th studio album, Intellectual Property, which is due out April 14th on fucking Fueled by Ramen.
Gang shit, big leagues now, Fueled by Ramen, baby. We have arrived. We are about to take over the world. I'm saying we because we are the 4th and 5th secret members of Waterparks, and really we're just tooting our own horn here. We did a great job on Brainwashed. It's probably not my favorite of the 5 singles. I think Fuck About It's above that. I actually don't know where I rank the singles, but they've all been really great. And I think Brainwashed is another example of a great single off of this new record.
For me, it's the point of comparison. I like the disparity between a song like Fuck About It, which is the extremely quirky side of Waterparks, and alternatively, we have the more emotionally centered, almost loving,
Yet still quirky side.
yet still quirkily affectionate side of Waterparks.
At 9, Have You Ever Met God by A Story Told.
Little Mr. Do or Die, head in the clouds above the blue skies. Having to learn, you never know why. You don't understand the pain of real time. But does it hurt? When you try to get it, you're really just beginning.
Self-released the 16th of March alongside a music video, Have You Ever Met God is a standalone single from the West Virginia trio, who, Sam, are marketing this song as the start of something so much bigger. Almost as if to say, big things coming.
There's a sweet hometowniness to A Story Told that I really appreciate and that really comes through on their songs. And the voice of this band is one of the absolute strongest in the scene right now.
Yeah, there's a real casual coolness to this band, but I can't help but gravitate towards that.
At number 8, we have Wasted Space by Kingdom of Giants.
My ears have been raining, and it's written on your face. There's no need to fake it, 'cause I've been feeling low. Nothing seems to flow, and now I can't pretend. If it's too much to take, I've given all I can give.
Released alongside of a music video on the 3rd of March, this single, as of right now, is not yet attached to whichever project will ultimately follow up the band's 2020 masterpiece LP, Passenger, which was a top 10 album for SOTS the year that it came out.
It was a sick one. Passenger fucking rocked. And, a couple of years have passed, but we're still sitting pretty. I think Kingdom of Giants still sound as fantastic as they did on that record. And whatever this gets attached to, like we said, could be an EP, could be an album, could just be a standalone single, and maybe this is just signs of what is still to come, but this is good. I like this a lot.
I think it's bold. I think it comes out and it's brash and it's loud and most of all, it has a very strong aesthetic that correlates to it. And I think Kingdom of Giants are essentially planting their feet at the beginning of this year, saying that they're going to be one of the most talked about bands by the end of this year.
Let's wait and see. At number 7, Reaching by The Devil Wears Prada.
You know it's fine. You know I'm fine. Being a waste of time. Waste of time. But for me, it's better. Take the time to consider. What works for you is never you.
Released on the 16th of March, Reaching is, I guess, the 6th single from last year's Color Decay LP. Again, another top 10 album of last year for us, which is getting the deluxe treatment and re-releasing on the 5th of May. Prada are on tour this April with August Burns Red, who I was going to call old as fuck. And then I realized they only started in 2003, and Prada technically started in 2005, which means in 2025, that would mean Devil Wears Prada are old as fuck. And I'm not going to stand for that type of slander.
Because they don't sound old as fuck.
And they're young at heart, yes.
Precisely correct. I think the Devil Wears Prada at this point are doing a victory lap on what was arguably one of the best albums from last year, and another SOTS top 10 release. What I think
certified classic.
What I think I love about this is that the Devil Wears Prada continue to really show that they have not only not lost a step over the course of 20 years, but in some ways it sounds like they're getting even better. And that includes what, for all intents and purposes, would be a B-side on a deluxe album.
Right.
At number 6, Marcos, we have the return of a pretty big band, Better Way by Closure in Moscow.
So I'll pace around inside all the memories of a time when I felt alive, and I can't keep waking every day wishing you were by my side. There must be a better way.
Released on the 10th of March, Better Way is the lead single from this Australian act's upcoming third studio album, Soft Hell, which is due out the 27th of goddamn October, following up 2014's Pink Lemonade LP. So not only have we had to wait 9 years, but it's even more months from now until we finally get to hear the entirety of that album. But I'm going to be honest with you, I fully embrace the return of Closure in Moscow, which I always thought to be one of the most fascinating bands in this scene, one of the strangest, one of the hardest to pin down, and I think that they ultimately come back and remain exactly that way. Closure in Moscow almost has no face. I don't know who this band is. I don't know what they strive for. I don't understand them, but I do know that the music feels like a success from top to bottom, and this is raging hit of a single.
Pull quote from their Bandcamp: the last 9 years distilled down to 50 minutes. This will be a 12-track album. We've put blood, sweat, and years into this. I'm fucking ready for this. It's been so long. Closure in Moscow, for me, a Hall of Fame music act based off of having caught them live twice. Once at Warped Tour being like the set that has imprinted itself in my memory until the end of time. It was so fucking weird. At number 5, Red Fur by Veil of Maya. Released on the 8th of March, Red Fur is the third single for the band's extremely long-awaited, upcoming 7th studio album, Mother, which is due out on May 12th via Sumerian Records. Again, long overdue, long awaited. We've, at this point, heard 3 singles. This one's good. This one's really fucking good, and I think it's got the tightest chorus of them all. A very weird breakdown in the middle that really sells me on this song in particular, and I think that it's a really great reminder as to why we all fuck with Veil of Maya as hard as we do. It's because they're fucking weird, and it rocks every single time.
I think this also does an incredibly good job of showing the breadth of Veil of Maya's talent, which is to say that they can't just be sour, but they can be sweet too. And seeing them take the sort of chaotic side of themselves and then combine it with that gorgeous melody that Lucas is able to capture within his voice, all in one singular song. It reminds me, this track in particular, most of when Lucas first joined the band in particular, and when I really truly fell in love with Veil of Maya and why they stood out so much within the metalcore scene. At number 4, we have Airhead by Honey Revenge.
Running too fast, but with 2 left feet. Tell me wait it out, I don't know what that means. Every thought I have, screaming, oh God. Damn, I'm such an airhead, no strength in my spine. With the best intentions, I can't make it right. Man, I'm really brain dead, I don't see
Released alongside a lyric video on the 24th of March, Airhead is the fourth single and opening track off of the Los Angeles duo's upcoming debut album, Retrovision, due out on the 23rd of June via Thriller Records. The band is currently on tour with the home team right now, and then with Loveless in May, all rising superstars within the scene, but Honey Revenge in particular has really stood out, especially with the release of this new song, which has the biggest hook, arguably the biggest hook to come out of March, and is a song that I can't stop singing along to the second I even think of it.
Yeah, and again, like, context here is that this is the opening track of this album. It means that Retrovision is going to start off on the right foot. It's going to be, we've already had a lot of taste of this album, but this really sells me on how perfect of a debut record this is. Like, the stars are lining up for this one. And speaking of stars, again, like, this band, there's a reason that they're supporting all of these bigger and bigger acts this spring. It's because they're a rising star as well. And, look no further than this song for that proof. At number 3, In My Head by Mike Shinoda featuring Kaylee Morgue.
In my head, I can feel it getting closer. In my head, breathing heavy on my shoulder.
Released on the 10th of March, In My Head is a single by Mike Shinoda and Kaylee Morgue from the what soundtrack, Sam?
Scream 6.
The Scream 6 soundtrack. It's one of 2 songs that Mike Shinoda wrote for the soundtrack, the other one being Still Alive, performed by Demi Lovato. It's probably, at least to kick off this year, the best horror soundtrack. Like, I didn't listen too closely to the Cocaine Bear one.
No, I'm going to
Like, I don't
back
know
you
how
up.
close
I'm
that
going to
one
back you
is.
up on that one. It is the best horror soundtrack to kick this year off.
The song is about struggle to overcome anxiety, depression, and negative thinking. It touches on the idea of being trapped inside one's own negatively oriented mind. And Sam, I didn't like this song upon first listen.
Incredible sell.
I didn't. But then I heard it in the end credits of Scream 6, a movie I enjoyed a lot, and that opened up my third eye that this is not only the third best song of March 2023, but it's also one of the best songs released this year. Shinoda's on his fucking bag. He's in his bag. Kaylee Morgue, an artist who's really started to pop as of the past calendar year at the very least, sounds incredible on this track. If you haven't listened to their material, they dropped an album last year that was excellent for the most part. And yeah, I don't know what more I can tell you about the song, but the fact that it slaps, it comes in at just the right time in those end credits. Go watch Scream 6. It's as good as this song.
The craziest thing about this, I think, is that Mike Shinoda found the time to write a banger like this while killing teenagers. Absolutely astounding. At number 2, Welcome to the DCC by Nothing But Thieves.
If you're dreaming, you can have it. If you believe it can happen.
Released alongside a music video on the 15th of March, Welcome to the DCC is the lead single from this English rock band's upcoming 4th album titled Dead Club City, which is due out on the 7th of July. Marco's Nothing But Thieves capture an astoundingly magical style of earworm that I just don't think any other band in existence right now is capable of. Their songs are just something otherworldly, and there is a soul to them and a danceability and a level of melody and an undeniable hook all wrapped into one singular song. And I think that ultimately, from my own personal perspective, Nothing But Thieves arguably is one of the best bands in the alternative scene right now. And this song does an incredible job of speaking to that.
One thing I want to add is, like, the flawless sound change almost out of nowhere from this band. The pivot to some synthwave stuff, similar to maybe The Weeknd as well, and their recent material. Think like Dawn FM. Very, obviously very different artists, but like this rock music is infused with a lot of synth and 80s elements, and it sounds fucking incredible. The singer for this band is among one of the best in the history of music. Like, this is such a great way to kickstart everyone's hype for this album. I think Welcome to the DCC for being what's essentially a title track as well. Lead single. I'm ready. I'm really anticipating this one. At number 1, our favorite song of March, Dumbest Girl Alive by 100 Gex.
If you think I'm stupid now, you should see me when I'm high. And I'm smarter than I look. I'm the dumbest girl alive. I took 10 pills today. I got bruises on my thighs. Plus I gave away my brain. I'm the dumbest girl alive.
Released with a music video on the 17th of March, which was day and date alongside the band's sophomore LP, 10,000 Gex, which we reviewed a couple episodes back. This track is absolutely fucking undeniable. And why is that?
Because it's big. It's an album seller for me personally, where I was looking forward to this 100 Gex album, and when I heard that song, it was the number 1 most anticipated, had to be listened to album of that day. There's just a level of hype built around this song, and the way that it builds up just has me absolutely fucking bursting at the seams, and the payoff is incredible, and I think it does such a beautiful job of capturing why 100 Gex are such an undeniably fun band, from the level of electricity that comes from their style to the absolute silliness that comes from their personal writing. I just think that 100 Gex continue to show why they are both the past and the future of the alternative music scene.
The only bad thing I could say about this track is you can't commit just one listen to it. You have to play it like 10 times minimum in a row.
You have to run it back.
You have to run it back.